So let's go here again in St. Mary's Church in Bridgetown. Over here you will come across some graves. This is the grave of Canon Harold St. Clair Tudor, who was born on the 24th of September 1919 and died the 9th of July 1989. Canon Tudor and the Pamela Tudor, his wife, buried here, died almost 10 years after her husband. The grave of Alfred John Hatch, who was the father of the Canon Andrew Hatch. Alfred John Hatch was Canon Andrew Hatch's father, who was the priest here. Canon Hatch was the priest here. Andrew Hatch, his son, Alfred Hatch's son, Canon Hatch was the priest here. And his mother, Canon Hatch's mother, Andrew Hatch's mother, Pearl Hatch, also buried here. The grave of the Dean, Gordon Hazelwood. He was the Dean of the Cathedral of St. Michael's from 1951 to 1971. And his wife Zoe Leola Hazelwood, also buried here. So this is St. Mary's Anglican Church, set in the city of Bridgetown. Franklin and Edna Franklin. A lot of well-known dignitaries and national heroes and so on are buried here at St. Mary's Church. The grave of the Canon Frederick Walcott, who was born in February 1940 and died in August 2009. Frederick Lane was also the priest here at St. Mary's, born 1911 and died in 1979. He's laid to rest here as well. Frederick Lane was at St. Mary's Church, this church, from 1954 to 1963. Canon Frederick Walker was at St. Clement's Church, all down in the northern parish of St. Lucie. So it looked like a lot of priests buried here. So back in the beloved St. Mary's Church. The pipes for the organ upstairs. You can see the statue of Jesus on the cross, and the Virgin Mary, and the Mary Magdalene beside him. The pulpit here. And this is the choir section and the priest section. You can see the lovely pipe organ. The original organ that was played by Sir Bentley Calendar was here until its removal in 1993. The organ pipes upstairs. So St. Mary's Church is situated in the city of Bridgetown. This is the new organ replacement, the organ console here. So this is the historic church. The pulpit here. And this is St. Mary, the Virgin. The pulpit here. So I'm making my way through the churchyard, through the church of St. Mary's. Lovely pulpit here. This is the baptismal font where our Prime Minister, Mia Motley, would have been christened, baptized, whatever you want to call it. It says, erected in thanksgiving to Almighty God. Yeah. In commemoration of the 125th anniversary of the ban of the Royal Barbados Police Force from 1889 to 2014, and in a recognition of the long affiliation with the Church of St. Mary, officially unveiled by His Excellency Sir Elliot Belgrave, Governor General of Barbados, on the 19th of October 2014. The organ was dedicated on the 23rd of November 1993 to the glory of Almighty God, in memory of Fitz Bentley Callender, who had the Silver Crown of Merit, and he was the organist of this church from 1951 to 1993. So this is a very beautiful church here in the Anglican Diocese of Barbados. It's now 12 o'clock. This is lovely blue barrel vaulted ceiling. Yeah, so you can see the old town hall building over here across from St. Mary's Church. Before I go any further, I will show you guys the grave of one of our national heroes, Samuel Jackman Prescott, who is laid to rest here as well in St. Mary's Churchyard. First of all, this is the grave of Herbert DeCosta Harris, another organist, born October 21st, 1929 and died the 4th of August 2009. Ormond Scott, the grave of our national hero Samuel Jackman Prescott, who died the 26th of September 1871, Anno Domini. So this is a historic church and a historic cemetery, and this church is built on the oldest consecrated piece of ground in Barbados, 1827, and this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Ibeen Adolph Jordan, born 1916 and died in 1993. And Damien Andre Jarrett Allen, born 1982 and died in 2000. Carmen Liotta Ward and Hilda Evelyn Hunter. So yes, this is a very historic Anglican church here in Barbados. Quartz is across from St. Mary's Church. The grave of the grandparents of our Prime Minister, Mia Motley. To start with, Ernest Dayton Motley, who would have been Mia Motley's grandfather. Ernest Dayton Motley, who would have been Mia Motley's grandfather, born the 11th of May 1907 and died the 27th of April 1973. He was the city father, known to many as the city father because he gave many poor Barbadians clothes in the park in Queen's Park, which is also in Bridgetown. He was a member of the Bridgetown City Council from 1959 until its abolition in 1967, 6 times mayor of the city of Bridgetown. Senior member of St. Michael Vestry, and he was a member of St. Michael Vestry from 1941 until its abolition in 1959. Member of St. Mary's Church Council. Senior member for the city of Bridgetown in Parliament from 1946 to 1971. And leader of the opposition in Parliament from 1961 to 1966. Mia Motley would have been a child when these two passed. Her grandmother, Ruby Motley, widow of the late Ernest Dalton Motley, who fell asleep on the 1st of August 1975. Ruby Motley died 2 years after her husband. So Mia Motley would have been a child when her grandparents died. In memory of the Reverend Walter Henry Fairweather, who was the priest of St. Luke's Church in the rural parish of St. George from 1957 to 1969. He died the 23rd of March 1972. Or St. Mary's Church. So this is all the cheapside market down here in town. Rachel Pringle would also later rest here at St. Mary's Church. Judy Monica Franklin and Ronaldo Davison Franklin also later rest here. All the old town hall building here in town. Rachel Pringle is buried in this cemetery as well. So St. Mary's Church dates back to 1827 on the oldest piece of consecrated land in Barbados. This is the port store over here. Where the old bus stand was, the old Lower Green bus stand was. St. Mary's Anglican Church, Anglican Episcopal, consecrated on the second oldest piece of consecrated ground in Barbados, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, consecrated on the 27th of July 1827. So I will walk up. So this is where the bus stand was, the Jubilee bus stand. The Lower Green bus stand was here for many years. So walking up town now. So I look this way. So this is where the bus stand was. So the Barbados Transport Board, big blue and yellow buses. Our port store over here. Jubilee Gardens was redeveloped by the Barbados Tourism Investment Inc. and officially opened on the 8th of December 2005 by the Honorable Billy Antoinette Miller, Senior Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade.